Last week, we began this little series on our blog about why are we here? And we established the fact that God made us to do something, but that's not why we're here. As we're doing what our vocation, our callings, yes, but in those vocations, in those callings, we got to ask, why are we here? And we established in Isaiah that everyone that is called by his name, he said, I've created him for my glory. I have formed him. Yeah, I have made him. So God has a threefold work of God in us, in being created, formed, and made. All of that I was created for his glory. I'm formed for his glory. I'm made for his glory. It referred to, as we finished last week, as the word glory means as a word to bring magnificence to God, impressiveness, fineness, lavishness, ornament, glory, beauty, eloquence, stateliness, majesty to God. Our lives are here because we're to bring glory to God. Now, again, it's a threefold deal. And we want to talk about the first one this morning, or in this vlog, is I created you for my glory, okay? Why are you here? Why did God create you? Is he created you for his glory. And the word created means originated, bring into existence, designed you. And you'll notice I have a picture here on the screen of a baby in the womb because this is what he's talking about. He says, when God created you, when in the origination of you, in your designing of you, your beginning of your existence, yet before you were in your mother's womb and while you're in your mom's womb, God was creating you for this purpose, to bring him glory, okay? And so Psalms 139, 13 through 18 says this, for thou hast possessed my reins, and then he says, thou hast covered me in my mother's womb. So this talking about you're in the womb of your mother. He says, in there I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. In other words, when God was making you and forming you in the womb, David said this, I understood while I was in there, I was fearfully and wonderfully made. He said, marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knows right well. In other words, this, you're not a piece of junk. God made you like you are, perfectly and fearfully and wonderfully made you. You're a marvelous work of God. And David says, my soul knows this right well. He says, my substance was not hid from thee when I was made in secret and curiously wrought in the lower parts of the earth. And so he says, while I was in my mom's womb, God, you were in there. You were there. It wasn't hid from you. I was in some secret corner somewhere out of your sight. You were there. He says, thine eyes did see my substance. God saw you in the womb, yet being unperfect means not quite yet developed. In thy book all my members were written, which in continuance were fashioned, and when as yet there was none of them. So it says, when there was nothing there, I was not yet formed, he says, all my members were written and in continuance, they were being fashioned. And so God knows this. And then he says, how precious also are thy thoughts unto me, O God, how great is the sum of them. If I would count them, they are more in number than the sand. When I awake, I'm still with thee. So here's what I'm saying to you, is when God thinks about you, you are so precious to him because God made you, or created you, I should say, intentionally in the beginning, designed you, everything on purpose, your nose, your mouth, your eyes, your ears, everything about you is fearfully and wonderfully made. Stop looking at yourself like you're junk or you're not whatever you think you wish you were. God made you like you are so you could get glory out of your life, okay? That's why he created us. That's what we're doing here. The word created is in the past tense. It's a finished work. God created you the way you are for his glory, and God made me just like I am. My physical body is for his glory to use as he sees fit. So we don't need to compare ourselves with ourselves. Don't look at the Vogue magazine and say, that's where I want to be, or the television Hollywood star, that's where I want to be. No, stop doing that. God made you just like you are. So we'll come back to this. The first thing he says, I created you for my glory. I designed you in the very beginning for my glory. We'll come back next week.